you're going to see just different things you should be aware of, things to pay attention to. And I casually joke that whenever you see something with a really technical name in Google, it means that it came directly from our engineers and it hasn't touched marketing yet. And the same could be said to the federated learning of cohorts, or FLoC for short. This is one proposal out there to say, how do we respect privacy but still enable things like audience targeting? So what happens in the past? In the past, users have thousands of signals which are sent up to ad networks, which users feel they're no longer in control of. And when that happens, then the ad networks make a determination. Should this person belong in this audience or that audience, and who will we provide that signal to? And consumers are saying we don't want that anymore. We want to control our data. We don't want all of the contextual signals, all the audience signals that are gathered on my computer to go anywhere else. And so what we do is we just adjust the approach. So there's enough power right now on computers to do machine learning. We see that every day. We almost take it for granted on our cell phones, where if you use a voice assistant service or you're working on improving or enhancing your photos, we don't need to send those photos up to the cloud to be improved. They have onboard machine learning. It's the same with your desktops and your laptops, where we can go through and look at these audience signals and say, look, there's no reason we need to send thousands of signals off the device up to an ad network. What if we can just recreate that audience segmentation, that machine learning on the device? And so all ad networks see are the conclusion. This person is interested in automobiles. This person likes fitness. That's the type of classification that we're going to see emerge. So even though third-party cookies are going away, that consumers don't want to share that information, here's a way of saying, fine, we'll keep all that information on device and we share with ad networks what they need. So this first proposal, FLoC, why you just want to keep it in mind is not only is it going into testing in Q2, and we'll mention a little bit more about that later on, but also that it's been able in some early tests to replace about 95% of the conversion volume from the previous cookie-based techniques. And so that gives us a lot of confidence that these techniques are going away, but there are replacements that machine learning and automation can do a lot of the heavy lifting. That middle one, Fledge, same thing except for remarketing campaigns, just in a slightly different way. And then this third one, something to keep in mind more holistically, and this we'll go into in just a moment, is that we are also updating our expectations for how we measure and how we understand. And so even though we may not be able to measure again with iOS 14, people moving from app to web, that may be difficult. Now we have the ability to go a step further and to say, well, do we have enough signals elsewhere that in a privacy safe way, we can aggregate them and we can almost come to the same conclusions as marketers. So they may not know what I, Neil, am doing on my device. They say, look, we have a large enough segment of people where we know people like Neil are likely to see this ad and then move over to the app. And while this may sound like cutting edge machine learning and a lot of leap of faith, remember that advertisers have been using these types of technologies for years. So things like online to offline tracking, to be able to see somebody that saw a display ad on their mobile device and then went in store, 100% of people don't provide their data or opt into that service, nor can anyone measure them. But just with a small enough sample, a small enough representative sample of data, we can predict what's beyond that grasp. And so that's the big takeaway for a lot of this, is that measurement is also changing alongside the ad products. That people are now able to look and say, we can measure and we can aggregate, so that way we can continue to make business decisions to optimize.